Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy M.K.S here, back in another video. This video I might be messing up because at risk of sounding a fool, I want to talk about an idea I had quite a long time ago. I often say, like, in my childlike mind, being quite naive, fool, naive ninny, whatever that means. Yeah, I'm probably a stupid fool, but I thought I'd discuss it anyway. I'm sort of damned if I do or damned if I don't, because if I don't discuss it, I'd probably think maybe I could have gone for it. And if I do, I suppose I'll probably look like a fool. But yeah, I don't know if you could see in the thumbnail. I meant to put my jumper back on, but it's a bit cold here. But I was sharing my T-shirt, which says "Future Crazily-creative." Probably can't see it very well, but which is one my cousin from America. One of my cousins from America got me this T-shirt. So yeah, my cousin Nidhi got me this T-shirt from America. So yeah, shout out to her for buying me this T-shirt a long time ago. I just can't believe it still fits because I'm a lot fatter than I used to be probably. But anyway, yeah, this was when I was very money-minded, and I thought I'd wear this tonight because kind of fits the theme of what I'm talking about, which is quite a money-minded idea. Although I always hope it would. I know it's probably a pipe dream, but I always hoped it would work and be more used for an ethical thing. Anyway, I'm going to try and stop waffling and get on to the point. But yeah, I think that covers everything for the intro. I could talk about like having an existential crisis, but I don't want to be too negative. Hopefully this video will cheer me and somehow other people up. And as ever, I'd love to read what you think about each point. Or if you want to make a reaction video, please feel free to do so. I hope you won't be too harsh, but if you like sort of meme me a little bit or take the mick out of me a little bit, I can sort of take it on the chin. But again, I hope you won't be too harsh. Please don't be too harsh. But yeah, I'll take it and whatever you want. If you want to make a YouTube video and share it in the comments, I'd really appreciate that as well. A response video, I say. But yeah, I covered this on my Facebook. If you can find me on Facebook, Michael Kovic Jensen. Please check me out on there if you'd be so kind. But yeah, I appreciate all support I can get. And anyway, I think this intro has gone on long enough, so I'm going to crack on with the video. So here goes. So number one, I came up with this idea a long time ago. It's probably about 15 years or more ago when I came up with this idea or this dream. Pipe dream, arguably, or whatever, but this childlike dream of mine. And yeah, it was around that time, probably even longer ago. I know some people might argue if you came up with this idea so long ago and it hasn't worked, it's probably just because it's not workable. But I thought it could be tweaked or twigged somehow to maybe we could find some way to make it work, maybe. But I thought I'd put it out there, and then maybe people could say, oh, what if you do this differently or whatever? Maybe it could work. It was, I think, when Obama was in power. Well, it was when Obama was in power, maybe even before that, when I came up with the idea. But I thought, might not quite have been 15 years ago. I'm not sure. Might have been a bit less than that. But anyway, I thought because Obama is a mixed, as I call us, like mixed race, I thought the mixed race community supporting Obama in America at that time, because we show we would support our own people when we so whatever country supports us, there'd be an incentive to support us because we show we return the favor, if you like, or we support our own people. Like, so I thought similar with Ireland when they had Leo Varadkar, who's like similar mix to me, probably a bit biased, but in a way, because we're a smaller community, we're a small community, smaller than many communities, shall we say. Just like, say, the Jewish community can sometimes support each other, which is fair enough. Obviously, as a smaller community who's been through a lot. But yeah, I thought something like that. So yeah, number two, how it would work, basically, if it ever worked, or if it did work, how I wanted it to work. Again, I'm probably being childlike. It's a naive sort of idea, perhaps, but maybe it could be twigged. But it would be something like this, working together with, at that time, was the American government. Now it would probably be the governments from what I call the six, which I mentioned before, especially from Malaysia, India, Indonesia, Singapore, and South Africa, but also Africa and Asia generally, as well as Ireland and other colonized countries, also Latin America, and that kind of thing. Basically to work with banks and possibly businesses, maybe politicians as well, dare I say. I know politicians and banks, and even in some cases businesses, can be not the most ethical, shall we say, dare I say. I should be careful with my words and be a bit diplomatic, but I know they can be a bit corrupt sometimes, shall we say. Again, I should probably be more careful with my words, but my idea was to work with them and discuss with them this idea, and dare I say, I don't know if I should admit this, but whatever money is in the world on a certain day, quote unquote, normal people see midnight as a new day, but because I think things normally start with one or at one, I thought 1 in the morning could be a new day. or in my mind, it was like a new day. I thought it'd be pretty cool if 1 a.m. was like seen as a new day. But I thought in business they say meet halfway. So what if it was 12:30? So from 12:30, just after midnight, between midnight and 1 in the morning, it'd be like whatever money was in the world. So say there was 50 trillion pound in the world now. If it by the next day there would be at some point, however long it took, there would be 50 trillion times 100, which would be about 5 quadrillion. But yeah, so I know a lot of people would argue inflation would be raised so much, but in a way we already kind of have QE. It probably doesn't work quite to that level, but and I know people will say like QE just raises inflation and makes the value of money much less. But I thought, what if there was some sort of way where governments or the government who sort of use this idea, or politicians or banks or whatever, could sort of make it so that legally inflation somehow couldn't rise above, say, 10% or whatever. So I thought, again, maybe being childlike in my naive mind, I thought that would be pretty cool. Again, I don't know if I should admit to that, but yeah, so that's how it would work. And then I thought, back then I used to have a dream to become like super rich, the richest man in the world, the best business person ever. Nowadays, I'd like to be the best philanthropist ever. But back then I was very money minded. I think that was more to impress other people because I'm not really that materialistic, really. But I think it was more to impress other people or to have freedoms to go wherever I want and do whatever I want. So I wanted to be the largest individual, like equity holder in this company. So what they would distribute this money or redistribute it to like poor people, homeless people, disabled people, disadvantaged people, people in developing countries especially, and that kind of thing. Projects to help such people. And I mean, I suppose if you give money to homeless people, it's unlikely they'll buy a house or do stuff that's good for themselves. They'll probably buy the RSA's. I know it's a controversial view, but I don't like to give money to homeless people directly, but to give to institutions which could help them perhaps, or like help them to get their own account and help them to improve their lives. But yeah, so at the time I wanted to be like the largest individual share or equity holder, like having 1%, and then like the next best would be like 5%, and also, 0.5%. Obviously, 5% is more than 1%, but yeah, also that, yeah. So like let's say a banker who would support this idea, a sort of way to incentivize or bribe, but we'll say incentivize. I think that sounds a lot better. Someone to like banks to support this, that they would get a share in this sort of thing. So between them, they would have like 10%, or certain banks could have 10% of the of this sort of QE system, or the monetary system or whatever, and also different groups like disabled people or whatever. But yeah, I wanted to make a group called the M.K.S United. So I wanted us to have like 10% of the system, if you like, or whatever, money involved, monetary system or whatever, and I wanted to, like, each individual group, because there'll be 4 groups, would have 2.5% each. Again, I hope this all makes sense, as I often say, but yeah, please post any questions you have. But that's pretty much how it would have worked, or would work if it ever worked. Number 3, I think that would free me up to support a lot of the projects I wish to support in what I call my 5 causes, and all my goals are to do with those, or to work on those 5 causes. I've talked about them before, so I don't want to go into too much detail in this video. Or certainly not in part 1, because I know this video is dragged on a little bit already. Number 4, I dream to make like peace, and to help poor people and prevent wars, support poor and prevent war. I meant to make that rhyme, but yeah. So I know that people will say like a lot of like banks or whatever, or even governments make money through wars and things like that. So it'd be hard to sort of steer them over to sort of work on peace projects. But I was hoping this could be some sort of financial incentive to make peace. And I think you'll see how quickly the world will be peaceful if that happened. I'm pretty sure. Again, maybe I'm being naive, I don't know. But number 5, again, I would love to have worked on my 5 causes, or I'd love to work on my 5 causes if something like this could work out. Number 6, including, as I often say, like Italian football, Serie A and that kind of thing. But also like the national team, club and country as well, like, so investing in the youth and stuff like that. Developing football in Italy, like academies and things like that. Number 7, also Celtic. And again, I was hoping this would be like, somehow there could be an ethical way to do this. So if you have any suggestions like how to make it as ethical as possible, I'd love to have like spiritual or religious or just ethical guidance generally. Number 8, again, I dreamed that this idea would make the world a better place. I kind of still do, but I shelved the idea for a long time. Maybe that's a dyslexic trait, getting bored and moving on to something else. So I sort of shelved the idea. Maybe that's part of my madness or whatever, or my dyslexia, I'm not sure. Maybe both. Number 9, I I suppose if this ever happened, planting more trees would probably be something really good to do, because to make up for it, and maybe it could be done electronically rather than through actually printing more money somehow. Because people say the banks actually how they do like quantitative easing is QE. That's what quantitative quantitative easing, QE is what it's short for, of course, like for those who don't know. But yeah, so people might say it's actually not paper money, it's actually electronic, or whatever. They print money on a screen and they can make money that quickly. Number 10, I dream to empower, as I say, the poorest 10% people in all possible countries, which I often talk about, and also young people, disadvantaged groups, disabled people, as I said before, and that kind of thing. And yeah, now if something like this ever happened in real life, yeah, my imagination became a reality, then I would love to say do a lot of positive causes. I don't think I'd keep that much money myself. In fact, I know I wouldn't. I'd give most of it away to causes I support. I often say it would be quite ironic if ideas like this actually became reality and I proved my critics wrong, because I can be such a naive fool sometimes. I'm so stupid. So it would be quite ironic if I could make something like this work, which would change the world so much. And I often joke as well, you can't say it wouldn't make money. But yeah, I probably covered the ideas a bit differently on my Facebook, hopefully. So if you check that out, if you can find that video there, the version on Facebook, it would be cool. Anyway, I am out. Peace and love.